He quietly climbed up the door panels and into the keyhole. This is the story of Tom Thumb, retold to you by Slow English with us. He was no bigger than your thumb, but his adventures were giant-sized. We've simplified this classic fairy tale to help you while you relax and study or while you're falling asleep. This is part of our Fairy Tales in Slow English series. Once upon a time, there lived a master tailor who had a son that was the size of a thumb. For that reason, the boy was named Tom Thumb. Little Tom enjoyed working side by side with his father. Tom was always sitting on his father's workbench, helping him sew and keeping him company. Tom was happy, but also had great dreams of adventure and traveling into the big wide world. His father knew of these desires and also knew that Tom might be small in size, but he was very big in spirit. One day, Tom asked his father if he was old enough to go. His father smiled and replied, "My little son, you have asked, and the answer is yes. It does seem that you are now old enough to go off and have some adventures. Just be careful. Don't let the world change the goodness that is in your heart." With that said, his father got to work in making him a little sword. He grabbed a long sewing needle and a bit of wax for the candle. Then he helped Tom pack his warmest clothes into a teeny tiny backpack. He helped Tom put on the little backpack and tie his little sword onto his belt. Now Tom was almost ready to set off, and so he said his goodbyes. "Thank you, and goodbye, Father. When I get back, I'll tell you and Mother all about my great adventures." With that, little Tom jumped down from his father's workbench and went into the kitchen to eat a nice meal before leaving. When entering the kitchen, he declared, "Hello, Mother, what smells so wonderful?" as he sniffed the air. His mother looked up from chopping some carrots and told him to peek inside the pot up on the stove. Tom climbed up to the stove and opened the pot. Just as he was about to look inside, a big puff of steam came out of the pot and lifted him high into the air. He floated right out of the open kitchen window. As he floated away, he called back to his mother, saying his goodbyes and telling her he would be starting his adventure now. He drifted along in the wind for a while until he finally fluttered down to the ground. He wandered around for a while until he found a master tailor who was looking for an assistant. He would have liked it very much, but the pay was only boiled potatoes. Tom told him he could not work for just potatoes and no meat. Tom, having a playful, childlike spirit, cried out, "If you'd like, I can help you put a new help wanted sign on your door that says, 'Mr. Potatoes is hiring and will pay in plenty of potatoes and very little to no meat.'" The master tailor got very mad at this, and being called Mr. Potatoes and all, yelling to Tom, "I'll make you pay for that insult, you little rascal." He then took a roll of wool fabric and tried to smash Tom with it. Little Tom was too fast for him, and the master tailor instead knocked over his full cup of tea into his lap. "Ha ha," Tom laughed. "I am too fast for you. Look at your tea now, all down your pants." He jumped around, dodging the tailor's next tries at hitting him with the roll of fabric. Tom started to have a lot of fun jumping around and sticking his tongue out, taunting the master tailor. The master tailor's wife overheard the quarrel and came in quietly with a jar in her hand. She popped the jar over little Tom's head and threw him out into the street, with his teeny-tiny backpack following shortly after. Tom dusted himself off and wandered around for a bit. By then it was dark, and he came into a great forest. He climbed into a big oak tree to get some sleep. While settling down, he overheard a group of men talking among themselves near a campfire. From up in the tree above, Tom cheerfully yelled, "Hello, my good sirs!" This made the men scared, because they could see no one. Then Tom bravely jumped down in the middle of their group and cried out, "See, here I am. My name is Tom Thumb. How do you do?" All the men were in awe and knelt down to see him better in the fire's glow. "Look here," said one of the men. "A perfect size he is to fit through the treasure chamber's keyhole." "Yes, indeed," agreed another. "He's just the size to fit the gold through a crack in the wall, while we wait and catch it down below." Listening to this, Tom then spoke in a serious voice. "Now, my good sirs, I will not be put to work thieving or stealing. An honest day's work is all I will do." He finished this speech with a quick nod of his head. The men reassured him. "Oh, little fellow, we aren't stealing anything, only returning what was stolen from us and our fellow villagers. See, the king's guards stole it yesterday. Gold was stolen and put into 2 red velvet sacks. This is all we seek to get back from the king's treasure chamber." Tom thought about this for a while, and then replied, "In that case, I will help you recover what was stolen. That only seems right and good." So Tom traveled with them to the king's castle. They fed him crumbs of cheese and roasted meat along the way. Tom was full and happy traveling to this new adventure. Once they arrived, Tom climbed up the vines growing on the castle wall and slipped into a window. He then crept past the guard standing at the treasure chamber's door. He quietly climbed up the door panels and into the keyhole. He jumped down, and all he could see around him was gold, silver, and jewels. Many of the treasures were bigger than himself. He saw 2 red velvet sacks containing the stolen gold coins. Next to the sacks was a crack in the wall that was just the right size for Tom to roll the coins through, and then they would fall down to the men waiting below. After a while, Tom got tired of rolling the coins and sat on a big emerald gem to rest. He heard a deep voice out in the hall. It was the king, coming to see his treasure. Tom hid behind a big golden cup. The king came in and looked around, and then said the red velvet bags of gold seemed like they were much lighter than when he locked them away yesterday. He looked at the lock but found nothing amiss, so he told the guards to be on alert. Once the coast was clear, Tom went back to work, sliding coins into the crack and down to the men. But this time the guards heard the cling-clang of coins. They came into the room just as Tom slid the last one out. The guards saw the sacks were empty, and there must be a gold-eating rat because no one could get in there. Tom, hiding in a corner, couldn't resist. "I'm full, but not on gold. I'm small, but not a rat. If you steal from others, then I will help take it back." And then he went from one corner to the other, taunting the guards, saying, "Here I am, old Tom Thumb. Here I am, so small I feast on crumbs and recover stolen gold." The guards chased him around the room until they got tired and left. Tom climbed back out the window and down the vines. The men gave him 1 gold coin because it was all he could carry. They also gave him more crumbs that were like a feast to someone his size. They parted ways, and Tom wandered along for a while. He then tried to find work with another master tailor, but no one wanted a worker so small. He finally found work at an inn as a servant, but the other workers did not like him. He saw the things they did wrong, and when they stole from the innkeeper, and he told on them. One fine day, Tom was playing leapfrog in a nearby field, when a maid came and mowed up the grass, knowing Tom was there playing in it. He was then bundled into the hay and fed to the milk cows. He was eaten whole by a big cow. He landed in the first stomach, onto cushy hay, but he didn't like it in there much, because it was too dark, and there was not a candle to be found. He tried to call out to the milkmaid, but she couldn't hear him over the splashing of the milk into the bucket. The next day he tried again, and when he was heard they yelled to butcher the cow, for it had gone mad. Little Tom escaped from the stomach once it was cut out and brought to the kitchen to make sausage from it. He burst out and ran from the house and into the forest. There he wandered around for a while, looking for another adventure. Right when he saw a great river with many possibilities of more adventures, he was eaten up whole by a fox. Tom got stuck in the fox's throat and yelled, "Hello, Mr. Fox, please don't eat me. If you spit me out, I'll bring you to my house, and my mother will serve you the best dinner you've ever eaten." The fox thought about this for a minute and said, "I will do as you ask if I can have all your meat on the table and in the house." Tom agreed, and so the fox spit him out and let him ride on his back. Tom rode on high and gave them directions to his home. Once they arrived, Tom told his mother and father of the fox's kindness and the deal they made about the meat. His mother set a plate for the fox at the table and served him every last piece of meat they had. They all happily ate with him, but they only had potatoes, carrots, and mushed greens, while the fox ate meat. They watched the fox stuff himself very full with juicy, delicious meats. After the fox was done, he said goodbye and ran off into the forest, and quite a lot slower than he ran before his huge meal. They watched him go and yelled goodbye. Tom turned to his mother and father and said he was so sorry for making that bargain with the fox, but it was all he could think of to not be eaten himself. He gave the 1 gold coin he had earned in helping recover the stolen gold, so they could buy more meat in the morning. His parents thanked him, but told him, "Silly little Tom, don't be sorry. Our little son, we'd give up all the meat in our whole lifetime to have you here safe. Do you think such things matter more than our love for you? They do not." Tom hugged their outstretched arms, and they all sat by the fire while he told them all about his great adventure in the big, wide world. This was part of our Fairy Tales in Slow English series. You can find more like this on our channel in the playlist called Fairy Tales in Slow English, including Little Red Riding Hood and more.